How did clothing differ between urban and rural populations in Latin America? Have you ever wondered how clothing choices can reveal so much about a person's background? In Latin America, clothing has always been a reflection of social status and cultural identity, especially when comparing urban and rural populations. The differences in clothing styles tell a fascinating story about history, economics, and social structures. In urban areas, particularly during and after the colonial period, clothing was heavily influenced by European styles. Wealthy city dwellers often wore garments made from luxurious fabrics like silk and wool, which were introduced by the Spanish. These clothes were not just for warmth, they were a statement of social status. For example, upper-class men might combine traditional indigenous garments, such as the Inca unku, with European knee breeches and elaborate hats. This blend of styles showcased their economic position and aspirations. Urban clothing also included the Guayabera, a stylish shirt that originated in Cuban and Mexican culture. This shirt became popular in cities due to its practicality and comfort, especially among officials and workers. The Guayabera symbolizes the fusion of cultural influences and is associated with urban life and social respectability. On the other hand, rural populations had a different approach to clothing. Their garments were more practical and closely tied to indigenous traditions. Many rural communities relied on handmade clothing crafted using traditional weaving techniques passed down through generations. Common items included ponchos, tunics, and mantles, often made from wool or other natural fibers. These garments were designed to suit the local climate and lifestyle, serving both functional and cultural purposes. Rural clothing maintained strong indigenous symbolism and was less influenced by European fashion trends, particularly in isolated areas. The simplicity of rural attire was rich in meaning, expressing cultural heritage and daily life. For instance, the poncho is not just a piece of clothing. It represents a connection to ancestral traditions and the environment. The differences in clothing between urban and rural populations also highlighted social hierarchies and mobility. Urban dress could signal a person's social ambitions or ties to colonial power structures. In contrast, rural attire emphasized continuity with indigenous identity and local customs. Over time, some garments, like the poncho and guayabera, crossed these boundaries, becoming symbols of national identity embraced in both settings, albeit with variations in style and use. Understanding these clothing distinctions helps us appreciate how Latin American societies navigate identity, status, and culture through dress. Urban clothing often indicated participation in broader economic and political systems, while rural clothing preserved ancestral traditions and adapted to environmental needs. Both forms of dress contribute to the rich cultural mosaic of Latin America, illustrating how clothing serves as a marker of place, class, and heritage within the region.